Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Dialog 513, dated September 16th, 1938. Major Chadwick again gave his versified translation of the mantra for Sri Bhagavan to read. Sri Bhagavan softly spoke of the interpretation of the Bhashyakara and further explained the same. To consider the Brahmaloka as a region is also admissible. That is what the Puranics say, and many other schools also imply it by expounding Karma Mukti, liberation by degrees. But the Upanishads speak of Sadhya Mukti, immediate liberation, as in, the pranas do not rise up, they lose themselves here. So Brahmaloka will be realization of Brahman, Brahmasakshatkara. It is a state and not a region. In the latter case, Paramritat must be understood properly. It is para inasmuch as Avyakriti is the causal energy transcending the universe. Amrita because it persists until the self is realized. So that Paramritat will mean Avyakrita. The Karma Mukti, liberation by degrees school, say that the Upasaka goes to the region of Visishtadvaita, Devata, which is Brahmaloka to him. The souls passing to all other lokas return to be reborn, but those who have gained the Brahmaloka do not. Moreover, those desirous of a particular loka can, by proper methods, gain the same, whereas Brahmaloka cannot be gained so long as there is any desire left in the person. Desirelessness alone will confer the loka on him. His desirelessness signifies the absence of the incentive for rebirth. The age of Brahma is practically immeasurable. The presiding deity of the loka is said to have a definite period of life. When he passes away, his loka also is dissolved. The inmates are emancipated at the same time, irrespective of the different nature of individual consciousness in them prior to self-realization. The Karma Mukti school objects to the idea of Sadhya Mukti, immediate liberation, because the jnani is supposed to lose body consciousness at the same time that ignorance is dispelled. But he continues to live in the body. They ask, how does the body function without the mind? The answer is somewhat elaborate. Knowledge, jnana, is not incompatible with ignorance, ajnana, because the self in purity is found to remain along with ignorance seed, ajnana bija, in sleep. But the incompatibility arises only in the waking and dream states. Ajnana has two aspects, Avarana, veiling, and Vikshepa, multiplicity. Of these, Avarana, veiling, denotes the veil hiding the truth that prevails in sleep. Multiplicity, or Vikshepa, is activity in different times. This gives rise to diversity and prevails. This gives rise to diversity and prevails in waking and dream states, Jagrata and Swapna. If the veil, that is the Avarana, veiling, is lifted, the truth is perceived. It is lifted for a jnani, and so is karna, sharira, causal body, ceases to exist. Vikshepa alone continues for him. Even so, it is not the same for a jnani as it is for an ajnani. The ajnani has all kinds of asanas, that is, doership and enjoyership, whereas the jnani has ceased to be a doer. Thus only one kind of asana obtains for him. That too is very weak and does not overpower him, because he is always aware of the Satchidananda nature of the self. The tenuous bhoktatva vasana is the only remnant of the mind left in the jnani, and he therefore appears to be living in the body. This explanation, when applied to the mantra, amounts to this. A jnani has his karna sharira destroyed. The stula sharira, gross body, has no effect on him, and is for all practical purposes destroyed too. The sukshma sharira, subtle body, alone remains. It is otherwise called atipayika sharira. It is this which is held by persons after the physical body is given up, and with this they traverse to other lokas until another suitable physical body is taken. The jnani is supposed to move in Brahmaloka with this sukshma sharira. Then that is also dissolved, and he passes to final liberation. The whole explanation is meant only for the onlooker. The jnani himself never raised such questions. He knows by his experience that he is not bound by any kind of limitations. The disciple asked, "What is the final emancipation according to the foregoing explanation?" Sri Bhagavan replied, "The ativayika, or the sukshma sharira, corresponds to the pure light which one experiences just after sleep and before the rise of the ego. It is cosmic consciousness. There is only the light reflected from the heart. When the reflection ceases and abides as the original light in the heart, it is final emancipation." Sri Bhagavan replied, the disciple said, "But Yoga Vasishta says that the chitta, mind of a Jivan Mukta, is achala, unchanging." Sri Bhagavan replied, "So it is. Achala chitta, unchanging mind, is the same as Shuddha Manas, pure mind. The jnani's manas, or mind, is said to be Shuddha Manas, pure mind. The Yoga Vasishta also says that Brahman is no other than the jnani's mind. So Brahman is Shuddha Manas only. The disciple asks, will the description of Brahman as Satchidananda suit this Shuddha Manas? For this too will be destroyed in the final emancipation. Sri Bhagavan replied, if Shuddha Manas is admitted, the bliss, Ananda, experienced by the jnani must also be admitted to be reflected. This reflection must finally merge into the original. Therefore, the Jivan Mukti state is compared to the reflection of a spotless mirror in another similar mirror. What will be found in such a reflection? Pure Akasha, space. Similarly, the jnani's reflected bliss, Ananda, represents only the true bliss. These are all only words. It is enough that a person becomes antarmukhi, inward bent. The Shastras are not indeed for an inward turned mind. They are meant for the rest. To what does the talk about Brahman and Brahmaloka, regions and states, to what are they referring? They talk of liberation. What is liberation? Is it a region, a subtle plane phenomena? If you misidentify with the body, you may think it to be so. Is it a state? If we consider bondage and ignorance to be in the mind, and view spiritual practice and attainment as a state of the mind, is that actually liberation? Is that actually Brahman? Some speak of liberation by degrees. Some speak of it as something immediate. But is it really of the nature of something that occurs at all? For whom would it occur? So he said of the Brahmaloka will be realization of Brahman, Brahmasakshatkara. It is a state and not a region. For the inward turned mind, it is a state. If you transcend the mind entirely, by knowledge of the self. It is neither a region nor a state, and cannot be measured as gradual or immediate. So if we understand what is said in various scriptures of a Brahmaloka, a region of Brahman, and understand it to mean the state of Brahman, then one should know that such Brahmaloka cannot be gained so long as there is any desire left in the person. Desirelessness alone will confer the loka on him. His desirelessness signifies the absence of the incentive for rebirth. Delusion is said to be the incentive for rebirth. The state of absence of rebirth is actually the state of desirelessness. Desire. Desirelessness is the state of knowledge, true wisdom. Such knowledge is an absence of confusion regarding what you are and what you are not. It is an absence of confusion regarding what is happiness and what is not. Desirelessness is actually the egoless state. Such egoless state is what is natural. Ignorance has two aspects: veiling and multiplicity. It is ignorance alone that seems to hide your own nature from itself. It is ignorance to conceive of multiplicity as a reality. If the veil of Avarana is lifted, the truth is perceived. It is lifted for a jnani, and so his causal body ceases to exist. The causal form of the experiencer is the root ignorance. And when that root ignorance is destroyed, truth is perceived. Speaking of the jnani, the one who knows, he is always aware of the Satchidananda nature of the self. To be always aware of it, he must be transcendent of all three states: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. The nature of the self has neither veiling nor multiplicity. What then is the jnani? He is not the possessor of Satchidananda. He is the Satchidananda. That Satchidananda is Brahman. All these questions about jnana, knowledge, and the jnani, the one who has realized, all of these can continue only if difference is still conceived between the jnani and Brahman. If there is no misidentification, there is no veiling, there is no multiplicity. There is no body, no one that perceives it. There is no vasana, tendency, nor one who conceives of it. There is no one living in the body, nor is there anyone incarnate. Nor will there be reincarnation. You are not a body, and you're not one who possesses a body. You are not an ativahika, a subtle body that transmigrates. A subtle body that transmigrates, nor are you the perceiver of it. You are not one who travels to other lokas, worlds. Nor are you staying in some sort of region. Even all the states do not pertain to you. Sri Bhagavan said the whole explanation is meant only for the onlooker. The jnani himself will never raise such questions. Why? Because he knows by his experience that he is not bound by any kind of limitations. With this knowledge, one remains without definition or bondage, without ignorance and without illusion. An unchanging mind is declared to be the pure mind, and the mind of the jnani is said to be pure mind. Yoga Vasishta also says that Brahman is no other than the jnani's mind. If by inquiry you cease to misidentify with thought, what remains then of your mind? If you seem to have a mind, inquire to know its nature. Negate the objective portion, which is the multiplicity brought up by ignorance. What is the mind? If the mind is only Brahman, a pure mind, that is one that does not engage in ignorance, without that ignorance, what is the nature of your mind? How to know the nature of the Satchidananda. How to know the nature of existence, of consciousness, of bliss. Free of the limitations of the veiling of ignorance and the projection of multiplicity, which is illusion. Finally, Sri Bhagavan said, "These are all only words. The talk of the subtle, the talk of the gross, the talk of reflections, the talk of all these explanations are given for the purpose of turning within. So turning within should be the focus. It is enough that a person becomes inward bent. The Shastras are not needed for an inward turned mind. Understand the nature of knowledge by knowing. Understand the nature of liberation. By freeing yourself of all delusion. Understand the nature of bliss as that which is unmoving and innate. Turn your mind inward to its source. Turn your knowing upon the knower. Dialog 514. Mr. MacIver, a resident devotee, asked Sri Bhagavan if he might go to Switzerland, where a guru was inviting him. Sri Bhagavan said, "Some force brought him here, and the same is taking him to Europe. Let him always remember that the world is only a projection of the mind, and the mind is in the self. Wherever the body may move, the mind must be kept under control. The body moves, but not the self. The world is within the self. That is all." The world is only a projection of the mind, projected from itself, by itself, into itself. Aside from such projection or illusion, the world has no existence. To realize this, you must inquire with a non-objective orientation. The entire world or objectified sphere of experience is only in the mind, and the mind in turn is only in the self. Nothing is outside of the self. Therefore, wherever the body may move, what does it matter? As long as the mind is kept under control, that is to say, does not does not believe in any of its own delusion. The body moves, but not the self. The world is within the self. That is all. Realize the nature of your own existence. Then, where is veiling? Where is multiplicity? Where is beginning? Where is end? To realize the eternal, you must know yourself. What is the nature of yourself? Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.